All right, guys, it's another recap chat. 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. 90 Day Fiance is a reality show that follows couples, one's from the US, the other from another country. They have to navigate, regular relationship issues. On top of that, cultural issues, language boundaries and barriers, legalistic issues when it comes to getting their license for marriage, the 90-day K1 visa process. It is called a 90-day fiance. This particular spin-off of the franchise is before the 90 days. All right, let's get into these couples, guys. We have Tiger Lily and Adnan. Tiger Lily is a bit of a cougar here, quite a cougar. I think she's in her 40s, he's in his 20s. But they've kind of had some issues with their quickie wedding. She doesn't know fully what she's getting into marrying a Muslim man, and she's gonna learn more. But after the wedding, they're getting ready to go on to their honeymoon, and his brother is gonna help him drive to this destination. But he's like, honey, when you're gonna be ready? We had this long wedding the other night. When are you gonna be ready? Be ready about 30 minutes. He has a thing about women getting ready at a certain time. But I do have to say, 3 hour wait was a little bit long there. 3 hour plus wait. So, I understand she's in the wedding honeymoon phase, and she kind of act like it was normal for him to have to wait this long. She has a style team with her, 2 people. So, getting ready alone might be taxing, but you got 2 other people helping you here. So, shouldn't we get ready a little bit faster? I kind of would be annoyed at this point when it comes to that wait. But, the brother starts to, question her outfit, which doesn't really look bad to me. But to them, they consider that it's, I guess it's too revealing. And he starts to tell her, her clothes aren't good. But Adnan's like, shut up, stop talking. Let me handle it. Let me take care of it. So right now he's keeping everything silent. He's not really coming clean to her with all the information about how she is to dress and all of the things that's going to have to change for her in her life because she's married to him. She's considers him impatient, but I actually agree with her, but the 3 hours was long. But as they continue to drive to their destination or whatnot, it basically comes out that, the way she's dressed, the brother keeps saying something about it. They're talking in their native language. So they're kind of, her and her glam team / friends are kind of left out of the conversation. But he's trying to basically tell his brother, hey, just let me handle it. He's like, well, she's my sister now. I need to tell her how she needs to dress in Jordan. He's like, I'm her husband. Just let me tell her. Let me handle the situation. So I guess he's still trying to keep her in that honeymoon phase at the moment so that, they can enjoy themselves. And then he's going to drop the truth on her. But, it just ends up coming out. And the friend kind of questions and says, well, basically, so actually the truth is she has to dress the way that you want. Is that true? He says, basically, yeah, he's not even, mixing words with this. And like, basically, yeah, this is basically how it's going to be straight up. So, she gets to hear a bit of the truth, but she's like, if he was honest with me and just tells me what I need to do because I'm learning the culture, I'm open to learning the scenario of the culture. So I was a little surprised that she was really open to that, but she doesn't know fully all the things that she's gonna have to change. Her friend was kind of opening the door for her to see the realities of, by continuing to question. And he was like, yeah, basically, you're gonna have to dress the way I want. And we already know that she can't make contact with men. So later on in that day, I think the friends were going to leave them and let them be while they do what they were going to do. And he shakes the hand of her friend, which is female. She's like, well, wait a minute. I can't shake a man's hand, but you can shake a woman's hand. So she gets upset. And he's like, It's okay. She's like, well, no, it's a double standard. You can do all the things you say I can't do. But that's a part of their culture. He's like, but I'm right here with you. I'm not by myself. She's like, so still, she kind of gets upset, kind of storms out of the car at that time. But she's got to learn that more things are to come as this whole story unfolds. So let's see what's gonna happen for Tiger Lily and the drastic changes she'll probably have to make as a Muslim wife. All right, Chitty and Renee. Renee's a little controlling, a little bit different with some of her perspectives. Not really respectful of Chitty's beliefs, even though, they kind of had a relationship that was a little bit, they had some bedroom talk in their relationship, but, now that he's, more committed to his faith, that's not going to be an option as they are together in the same country. So as the opening to showing his country, they showed the slushy bag. I thought it was pretty cool. Look, they had frozen soda pops, and then they had like sandwich bags, and they just like squeeze some of the pop into the sandwich bag, I guess tie it up, and then you kind of poke a hole in it and you just suck your slush out of that baggie. I thought it was a really inventive way to have a slushy. I thought it was pretty cool. I guess that's what they do in that country and that culture, maybe other countries in the area. I just thought it was cool and kind of inventive and smart way to do it, but that was a side note. But Chitty and Rain is happy at the moment with Chitty. And she's like, well, why don't you go to an eye doctor to see exactly if you can get some help? There's new things that are going on. It's been 10 years, which is a long time. And I'm glad that she encouraged him to go to the eye doctor. They see that there's some cataract there, so he's like hopeful. Okay, maybe they can remove the cataract, but the doctor says you're not really responding to light, and they do see some glaucoma. So the chances that you would be able to see again is slim. And because there's so much tension in your eyes, eye removal is possible. So they need to do something to release the pressure. So she has some medicines, the doctor, available for him to kind of release that pressure. And she kind of saved really his eyes in the future, because the doctor said he could get his whole eye removed if that pressure was not taken care of. So I don't know how the hope might be for him to see, but at least hopefully more damage won't be done and he can continue as he is going. And she says, after the doctor tells him this information, she says, well, at least life will be bright with me in your life. And it was just kind of weird and awkward, because I feel like she should have been consoling him and saying, I'm sorry that you don't, may not see again, but I'm glad that your eyes, you're getting the help you need. But she kind of made it be about her, which I thought was really weird. And like, she's the everything that's going to make his life better. And I kind of understand when you're in a relationship in the beginning, but I wouldn't put myself up on such a pedestal in the relationship as if I'm the be all of everything. And she's kind of giving me that vibe. End all be all, So back at the house, they make a special meal for her. I think Fufu was involved. But she doesn't like it. The soup is really spicy. She's trying not to really say she doesn't like it, but she tells the producer she really doesn't like it. But they can get the vibe that she's not into it. She's saying, she sees some dark energy from the sister. And maybe sis is just mad you don't like her food. But, you did kind of fuss and fight with her about the chickens the other day. So I know that's probably still on her mind too. And the way that she fights with you is very out of nowhere, really defensive. She doesn't have like a regular conversation with you, and then it escalates out of nowhere. So it's kind of off-putting. But they ask, what type of food do you like? She said, well, mostly in America's prepackaged foods. I don't know how to cook, but there's, they have soup there, but there's all types of prepackaged soups you can make on your own in the US. And so she's, her the sister and the sister's husband, like, that's bad for Chidi. You're dealing with an African man here, he has a certain type of foods he's used to, and you should at least be able to know how to cook. But I think that's kind of traditional. And if she probably doesn't, she can be open in learning to cook. Because even if she knew how to cook American food, it's still not the same. But at least she'd have some level of experience. But she's not really into cooking. I do think it's important to cook for your partner, but in this day and age, you don't really have to. It's not like a requirement to be able to cook for your partner. If you guys have the money, you can order food and some wholesome, good food from some great restaurants that serve Nigerian and other types of food from that continent. And then you can figure out something else as you go. But I do believe he needs a healthy diet, and packaged foods is probably not it. So, she started talking about how she has a spiritual bond with Chidi, and the sister starts getting upset. She's like, spiritual, what do you mean? Have you guys had, bedroom relations here? And she was like, oh, no, nothing like that. So she was like, good, is what the sister said. She was kind of upset. So then Rain is kind of upset that she even asked that, but she didn't really address it at the table at that time. But she was upset, and she said, do you have a problem with me? So she kind of confronts Sis right, at the table. And the husband kind of takes up and say, no, your family, whatever may be going on with her, it may have nothing to do with you. And then she just, Sis kind of tries to laugh it off, but then she just gets up from the table with the kid in her arm. And so there's an issue there. I think this really puts Renee off. I think I'm calling her Rain all day because that's the way her name is spelled, but it's Renee. It puts her off the fact that his sister's attitude, So she wants to get a hotel. She apologizes to Chidi the next day, takes him out for a walk, apologizes, asks him to, maybe stay in the hotel with her. He's basically like, my faith won't allow me to do that. Just basically because I have urges, and also because of how it would look if I did that. So she gets really upset about that. And she's really controlling. He's trying to state his piece. She keeps talking over him. She won't let him speak. In the middle of her not letting him speak, the cock crows. And it just makes me think Bible, only because I'm a person of faith, when the crow kind of breaks into the situation. But, it is a heated situation. So it's the perfect time for the cock to crow. Doesn't change anything because the argument continues, mostly just her. And he's apologizing. He's feeling bad. He's feeling oppressed and less than the way that she talks to him. He's like, I feel like I need to go to a hotel with her or I'm going to lose her. You shouldn't feel that type of way. She belittles his faith and his beliefs. And I just would be scared to be with her. Like, hopefully somebody knows they're out, because I would be afraid for her to guide me back home. Honestly, the way she's acting, I would say, is she going to leave me out here? Because, I don't really have a way to get back without a guide. And I will really need some assistance. And, unless she could get someone's attention, she could leave him out in the dust. Or when she's guiding him back, she can let him get into some trips and falls. I mean, she just seems a little bit petty like that. Like, I know she really cares about him, but I can't tell what she's going to do next, which is kind of a scary person to be with. All right, Lauren and Faith. Well, Lauren found out he had STD after being with someone outside of his relationship with Faith. Of course, they have just now met face to face, so he feels, it shouldn't be a problem for him to see other people, and he wants to have an open relationship anyway, but he hasn't really been forthright with Faith about it. So now that he's told Faith that, hey, I slept with someone, I have an STD, gonorrhea, he said, who knew that this type of act that he committed in the bedroom with this person would give him gonorrhea. So he didn't have the traditional act. He had one of the other ones that involves the mouth area. I'll just say that. So he's saying just using that area causes that area with the private area. He didn't think that he would get gonorrhea from that, or he would say, he didn't expect all this to happen. So yeah, we all know about STDs and you can get it in different ways. This is a lesson to you and all the other people that think if you do a different type of act in the bedroom besides the traditional one that, you're safe from STDs. Can't really say you are. So this is kind of a lesson for anyone that thinks that, and maybe a lesson for Lauren at the same time, besides the fact of him possibly losing his love. So he went to the doctor, finds out he has to do 7 days worth of pills, a whole week. That's a lot. But has to be done. Calls Faith, won't answer his calls. And Faith is like, I think getting their nails done is like, they're asking what's going on, how's everything with Lauren? Like, oh, it's okay. But starts to cry. The truth starts to come out that he's promiscuous. He got an STD. And it's weird because when he talks to producers, he's like, sleeping around shouldn't be an issue. If you really care about a person, it's fine to sleep around. I don't really understand what his logic is. I feel like if you really care about a person, you won't sleep around. His logic is you can do that if you really care about a person. I beg to differ. And so does Faith. One of the friends is like, starts to cry as well. And it's like, if you want, you can just leave this person. Faith's like, I feel like I made a bad decision here. Thinking that, you finally found a person that's not going to treat you bad, especially because you are someone from an alternative lifestyle and have been mistreated. So you finally think you found somebody and they really, really treat you bad too. So the friend is like, you know what? If you can, just leave this person. Then one of the other friends says, well, why don't you talk to them? They came all this way. They obviously care about you. They wouldn't have told you the truth if they didn't care. And Faith is like, okay, I'm going to try to get the closure I need. If it just ends up being that. But Faith she's not really sure that Lauren is going to be able to fix the situation. Yeah, I totally agree. All right, let's go to Niles and Matilda. Niles is like, once I see her, I'm just going to be like a kid running for ice cream. And that's kind of what happened. They ran chest first into each other, kissing and all of that. Matilda was really making most of the moves here, but they were equal on equal level for the most part. They've decided to share a hotel, but she's telling her friend, we're gonna wait until marriage to do anything in the bedroom. So but she said, I'm not sure if I can resist him. I love me some Niles. Now Niles is autistic as well and not used to their culture, so he's not sure how he'll get along there. And the brother is not sure either, so he wants to kind of check him out and see what he's about. But a brother would do that to anyone, I'm sure, is to check the guy out. But they want to have a blessed marriage. They want God to bless their marriage, so they don't want to do anything in the bedroom because they're about to get married soon, is what she thinks. But Niles wants to put it off and say, it's our first meeting. I'm not really sure about doing this yet. But she's got a lot of the plans going on, believing that we're getting married. So he meets up with the brother, and I feel it's probably awkward with the brother because they're really kissing it up, showing a lot of affection, very passionate meeting. Bro's looking back, he's not trying to stop him, but he's like, he just looks a little awkward in this situation. She's like, I think my heart's gonna burst. I can't even speak. And she's calling him daddy, which is something he's wanted her to call him. So they're happy with that term and scenario. So then they take him to a nice restaurant. I think it's Shellfish in this meal and snails, and it's like, and they're like, try these snails, and I'm like, I don't know. As someone with autism, you may not be sure if they're okay with doing something like that. But he was up for it. He chewed those snails. He seemed like awkward with it at first, but he ate that snail and he's like, that's pretty good. I'll have another. So that worked out pretty well. But the brother warns Niles that she's kind of quick tempered. She needs to get her way, and basically, if she gets her way, it'll be cool. And he said, okay, I'll try to work with that, but we'll see. People can say things and hear things, but when it actually confronts them, we'll see how they're going to be able to work those things out. And he confesses that the two of them aren't virgins, but they're going to this hotel together to spend the night. But nothing's going to happen because they're waiting till their wedding day, which should be very soon, according to Matilda. She tells him to start sleeping because nothing's going to happen. He's like, well, I'm going to wait up for you. So she's like, give me a little kiss. So after the kissing starts, Matilda seems like she can't really hold back. She can't hold herself back, which is what she said. She can't resist. So she kind of hops on top of him. And we don't know what happened after that, but we can guess. We'll find out next time. All right. Hopefully they have been able to keep their vow, but we'll see what happens. Brian and Ingrid, we're back with them, and they're back together after Ingrid finds out, on their first meeting, even though he had 2 years to tell her that I used to be a drug dealer, and this is how I ended up in a wheelchair, and I used to do the drugs as well. So that really puts Ingrid off guard. She has a young child, but Brian apologizes. He comes over with flowers. He brings a toy for the child. And that kind of opens the door back to them reconnecting. And so they go to a special date at a ranch. And this ranch is really friendly for people that are in wheelchairs. I feel like he's been there before. The people are really nice. It seems like a gentleman there assisting him. It's very welcoming. They're having a good time at this ranch/resort in their bikinis or whatnot, showing, a little bit of PDA or affection, so to speak. He's like, well, there's more to my story. So Ingrid's looking like there is. They kind of try to trick us with this information. But when he comes back to tell more of the story, he basically says how the accident changed his life, got him out of the drug game. He didn't realize how bad it was going to be and how his life was going to be changed forever. But he became a different person. This accident really saved him. And he got involved within rugby, as well as helping others within the community of those people that are disabled in wheelchairs, younger people than him, kind of trying to help them to cope and, find joy in life again the way that he did. So, that's a heartwarming story. And Ingrid just gets closer to him and builds even more of a bond with him. So it's a good story. So let's hope that they continue to keep things in that vein and things go well. And hopefully no more surprises, Mr. Brian. Okay, Sunny and Vea. Well, we know Vea brought her ex all the way to Sunny's country to meet him, but she's got him hidden on the low. And as they get off the plane, she's like, hi, go to the side. She's really nervous. They have a plan. And she's going to text him 3 number 7s to let him know that he can leave the airport, but they have to be cleared. So, they hug and kiss. It's a little awkward, but, we can tell that they have an attraction, affection for each other. And, as they get into the car and everything, they start talking. And, that's when Vea's like, okay, I'm going to text. But in the meantime, Rory's like twiddling his thumbs, waiting for this text. Like, what have I gotten myself into? But I actually think this is a good plan. And I'm glad she didn't just have Rory come out. That wouldn't make any sense. But she's like, I don't want to mess this up. So let's do this with this plan here. And I guess Rory's going to get his his own room somewhere, and they're gonna meet up if they have to meet up. She said, let me break the ice with Sunny and see how things go, and then we'll see if we're gonna meet up. So I feel like it's great because you can have backup and they just jump out of nowhere. So if he would have came out with her, not only would he be mad and insulted, but he would have a certain attitude. He would probably not even fully be himself. He may be on the defense and on guard. So to have the guy not show up in his face right away is a good thing. And if she ever needs backup, like I said, he could just jump out of nowhere and just surprise the guy. And I think that would be a very good thing if that had to be done. They're going to the hotel, and she's like, well, we did some things. We had some intimacy over the phone, doing the video chats and the shower session that they had over the phone, video chat, whatnot. But she's like, in person, I'm not going to be doing all of that. Need a little bit more time to get to know him in person, which may sound weird to a lot of people, but I understand where she's coming from. But it's kind of like, maybe you shouldn't have did it on the phone either, but people have certain expectations, and I think he kind of had that expectation, and she was like, I'm gonna take a shower. He's like, well, can I join you? Like the video calls. She's like, no, and I'm tired or whatnot. I'm sure she didn't really want to tell him, hey, we're not gonna do anything because I need time and it's kind of awkward. She didn't say all of that yet, but I'm sure the next day or so they're gonna really kind of talk about it, or we'll see what happens because things may happen beforehand. Not really sure. I know he has a certain belief system, but I'm not sure how deeply he follows it. He made her chicken curry and bread, and she's like, she doesn't want. He's like, I put a lot of hard work into this. The chicken curry to me looked a little raw. Like, I don't know, the chicken curry I've seen in the past, I just haven't seen it that way, and maybe I've seen jerk chicken and not chicken curry. I may be wrong, but it was like a chicken legs, but they looked rawish to me. So she was like, that's okay, I don't want it. She said that she's a picky eater, but at that time I don't think she's telling him that. She's kind of letting us know. She's like, no, I just really don't want it right now, but thank you so much. And that was a put off for him. He goes to sets the room up. He put rose petals on the bed. When he brings her in and covers her eyes, she sees the rose petals and the candles. She's like, this is really nice. Thank you for all the work that you did, but you're basically still not going to get in the shower with me, right? By the time she comes out of the shower, the candles are melting all over the end tables in the room. They finally blow the candles out, but that was just really annoying for me to see all that wax going down the end tables. Sorry, it was just weird. But looks like tonight is going to be a night of them going to sleep. So that's the end of our recap chat. 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Any thoughts, comments, questions, you can email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Talk to you next time. Faith, love, and trends. All the best. This is Irene. God bless.